Studio microphone intro. You ever catch a whiff of something in the air, maybe old ketchup or a fresh-baked roll, and suddenly you're back in your elementary school cafeteria? The clatter of trays, the hum of kids in line, and the lunch lady with that ice cream scoop-sized portion of mashed potatoes? Yeah, school lunches in the 70s were a whole vibe. They weren't gourmet, but they had heart. And a few of those dishes, pure childhood magic. Today we're looking back at 10 school lunch items every 70s kid misses, the ones that vanished without warning, but left a taste we'll never forget. Hamburger 1. Sloppy Joe's, the ultimate mess. Sloppy Joe Day was loud, messy, and downright delicious. A scoop of seasoned ground beef slapped onto a soft white bun that never stood a chance. It was sweet, tangy, and somehow always ended up on your shirt. Some kids loved it. Others tried trading it for a PB&J. But no one forgot it. As schools got stricter with nutrition rules, the Sloppy Joe quietly faded off the tray. Cheese wedge 2. Grilled cheese with government cheese. You remember that thick orange cheese that melted like lava? Served between slices of white bread, browned just right on a hot griddle. Simple, satisfying, and always better when paired with a little paper cup of tomato soup. That was government cheese, not fancy, but boy, it hit the spot. As processed foods got phased out, that ooey gooey goodness went with it. Cut of meat 3. Salisbury steak and mystery gravy. If you ever felt like a grown-up in the lunchroom, it was probably Salisbury steak day. A grayish-brown oval of meat, smothered in thick brown gravy, usually with peas and mashed potatoes on the side. It looked weird, smelled okay, but somehow tasted like a warm hug. It felt like the cafeteria was trying to be a steakhouse. By the late 80s, it was off most menus. Too much prep, too little love. Pizza 4. The famous rectangle pizza. Now this one hits home. The rectangle pizza. Soft crust, gooey cheese, tiny diced pepperonis. It wasn't New York style. It wasn't delivery. But on Fridays it was gold. Kids would race to the cafeteria just for that square slice. Once fast food chains started supplying schools, that handmade magic disappeared. Ice cream 5. Ice cream cups with wooden spoons. Tiny paper cups of ice cream. Chocolate, vanilla, or the ultimate combo swirl. Peel back the lid, grab your little wooden spoon, and dig in. It always tasted just a little like the wood, but no one complained. These were special, usually served on birthdays or field day. But as budgets tightened, they melted away from schools for good. Hot dog 6. Mini corn dogs, fried fun on a stick. Little bites of joy, dipped in cornmeal and fried till golden. Mini corn dogs were like a trip to the fair, except you were stuck in math class after. They came with ketchup, mustard, and a whole lot of smiles. But eventually, fried foods started disappearing from school menus. Health guidelines changed, and these little guys were sent packing. Spoon 7. Tapioca pudding, love it or leave it. Thick, creamy, and full of those little jelly-like pearls, tapioca pudding was a choice. Some kids adored it. Others thought it looked like frog eggs. But it showed up on the tray like clockwork. Served cold, with a sprinkle of nutmeg if you were lucky. Eventually, it was replaced by slick, shelf-stable cups of chocolate or vanilla. Sandwich 8. Peanut butter and honey sandwiches. Sticky, sweet, and packed with energy, PB and honey was a classic. Made with thick slices of white bread and a golden swirl of honey. It stuck to the roof of your mouth in the best possible way. But by the late 80s, peanut allergies became a big concern. Schools pulled it from menus, and a childhood favorite became history. Spaghetti 9. Beefaroni, the pasta mystery. A scoop of elbow noodles, mixed with ground beef and tomato sauce. It wasn't fancy, but it was warm, filling, and somehow comforting. Beefaroni Day meant full stomachs and empty trays. It had a weird name and a simple charm. But as frozen food took over and scratch cooking faded, beefaroni disappeared without a fuss. Birthday cake 10. Homemade sheet cake squares. If you remember these, you really had a good day. Thick squares of yellow or chocolate cake, topped with a swirl of frosting and rainbow sprinkles. Served on birthdays, holidays, or just because the lunch ladies felt generous. They weren't from a box. They were baked right there in the school kitchen. But once pre-packaged snacks took over, the cakes got cut for good. Studio microphone outro. Looking back, it wasn't just about the food, it was the moment. The tray in your hands, your best friend next to you, and a lunch you'd trade half your cookie for. Those school lunches weren't perfect, but they were real. And they were ours. Which one do you remember most? Let us know down in the comments. And hey, if this brought back some good memories, give it a like, hit subscribe, and stick around. We've got more stories from the good old days, just waiting to be told. See you next time, and save me a seat at the lunch table. Fork and knife with Blake.